Welcome to this demonstration of the Dynaway Blue product. In this demonstration I'll be walking through some basic operations in the Blue product, and in particular I'll be showing how the employees clock in when they show up at work and how they clock out when they leave. I'll also be showing job registration on production jobs and other kinds of jobs. I'll show how to operate the job queue and how you do feedback on the jobs you're working on. So let's just jump right into the Blue product. The screen you see now is the one you always see when you walk up to a Blue client on your production environment. You have to think of this screen as a touchscreen client. This is what it's designed for. It can be used with a mouse and keyboard if you choose to, but it's designed for touchscreen operations. Normally I would be using the finger to click the buttons on screen, but for this demonstration I'll be using the mouse. Now when an employee walks up to a Blue client, he needs to log in. He can do that in a number of different ways. He can use his employee card if it has an RFID chip or a barcode or something like that. He can also type in his employee number, and that is what I'll be doing in this demonstration. The employee I'll be using has ID 3140. So let's type that in on the on-screen keyboard and click login. Now the first thing the Blue client does is prompting me for an absence reason. You'll see later on that I've clocked in late compared to when I was supposed to clock in. So I need to state why I clocked in late. And let's say I was ill in the morning, so let's select the absence cause illness and click OK. Now you're actually logged into the client, and I'll walk you quickly through what you see in here. On your right hand side you have some personal employee information. First of all, the employee name, the employee number, and you'll also see some balances for that employee. In this case you have saved up 7.95 vacation hours or days, and you have incurred 2 hours of overtime so far. You also have a profile for the day, and you're supposed to clock in at 7 o'clock in the morning, but the time is now actually 11:45, so that is why it prompted me for an absence reason. Then I have a break at 9 o'clock and another one at 12 o'clock, and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon I need to clock out. If you look at this area, this is what you can think of as a timesheet. If you're doing your timesheet on paper, this is what you would be writing on that piece of paper. Notice now that it automatically created a clock-in registration when I typed in my employee initials. It knew I wasn't clocked in the first place, so it automatically created that for me. It also prompted me for an absence reason, and that is what is stated here on this absence registration. Now, if I only wanted to record the employee time for payroll purposes, this was actually all I needed to do, and I could just log out again. But in this demonstration I will also be registering time on jobs, production jobs and other kinds of jobs. So let's look at how we do that. Down here at the bottom we see a lot of different function buttons, but the first one is a job queue where I can actually select my jobs. Now when I click that one, I will see all the planned jobs for the resource that I'm actually looking at right now, and you can see here this is 00601. That is a resource that this terminal has been linked to. So you normally place a terminal next to a work center, and you then set up what work center that is, and this is actually 00601 here. Now you see a list of all the jobs planned for this work center in the planned order. So this is what is planned for 00601, and I should normally just be picking the top one. Now on these jobs you have some details. You have the production ID, the operation number, and so on, and what item it is we are producing. But you can also see these dots here. Those are the operations on that production order. So this production order has 4 operations, 10, 20, 30 and 40. The blue one is the one I'm currently looking at always. So as you can see here, operation 20, which is the job I'm looking at, has a blue dot. Now the other dots states the status for those operations. So I can now tell that operation 10, the one previous to this one, is already finished because it's green. You can see on the other jobs here, they're still gray, so this job hasn't been finished yet, so I might not be able to start it yet. So let's just select this first job. Once I have selected it, you can see more details on it here. You can see how many was planned, 4 of them, how many has been reported good so far, 0, and how many has reported error. You can also look up some additional information if you have attached documents to the jobs. You can see them from in here as well. But I'll cover that in more detail in the advanced demonstration later on. So let's just select this job by clicking OK. And you'll now see it added a new line in here. So this is the start registration of this job. So let's just click Done. And now the employee has registered the clock in the morning with an absence reason and what job he starts working on. He can now start working on the job. Then later on, when he comes back to this terminal and wants to work on a different job, he logs in again, 3140. And we are back in action. You can now see there's an additional box out here. This shows me the progress of the job I'm currently working on. In AX, this job had a calculated time of 0.05 hours. So far I've been spending 0.08 hours on it, which means I've used 163% of the time planned for it. Other than that, you'll still see the lines in here that we created earlier. The absence course has been added to the clock in line, so it now states it's a clock in with absence of illness, and the job has been started here. Now I want to work on a different job, so let's look at the job queue again. And I could actually just select the next job in my queue here. But I just want to show you other types of job you can select as well. If you don't want to filter your jobs on a specific work center, you can just click the productions button here and it will show you all the production jobs in the entire AX. You could also select projects and project activities to register time on, and you can do that by clicking the project button, and you'll have a list here of projects and activities. You can select any of these and you'll be working on that job. You also have indirect activities, which is known from the shop floor control module in AX, and those are specified by yourself. So let's say I'm now going to a department meeting, so let's select that job, click OK. You'll see I get a new line in here, start time a bit later of department meeting, and then when I click Done here, you'll notice that I get a feedback form. This feedback form is because since I'm starting a new job, I will be finishing the previous job, and since that was a production order job, I need to give some feedback on that. First of all, is the job finished? Is it closed, or does somebody else need to work on it later on? If I check this one, I will actually close the job when I click OK. I won't do that for this demonstration, so I'll leave that unchecked. I can type in a quantity that I actually reported as good. I can tell up here that the planned quantity was 4, so let's say I did half of them. So type 2, OK. And if I destroyed any of the goods, I can also type it in here. I won't do that for this demonstration. Let's just click OK. And now I have done some feedback on the production job I was just working on. And I'm now working on an indirect activity. So let's later on plug back in as that same employee again, 3140. Still see the timesheet here. It now has a start time and an end time for that production job. It also tells me there was 4 planned and I actually finished 2 of them, and so on. You can get more information on the job by clicking the information button here, and you can read a lot more into this. I won't cover this in more detail for this basic demonstration, but I'll look more into it on the advanced demonstration later on. What I want to do now is start another production job. So let's select the second job and click OK. I don't need to do anything else but click Done here, which means now I'll be working on that job. Now the reason I wanted to do that is I want to also show you can do feedback on a production job that you're actually not finishing. So now I logged back in, and you can see up here by the green dot and the line with no finish time that I'm actually currently working on this operation. This could be a job that I'll be working on for the entire day, and in that case I want to do some feedback during the day. So whenever I finish some of the 40 that is planned for this one, I want to report it. So let's say now I've finished 5 of them and I want to report that, but I want to keep working on that job. Then I can just use the feedback button down here, and you'll see the same form pops up. And now remember to remove this stop work check mark, because I want to keep working on that job. But I just want to tell the system that I've finished 5 of them, and click OK. So now 5 units has been reported as finished on that operation. This could potentially start the next operation by another employee. Let's log back in for the last time. Again, you'll see the planned 40 has now reported 5 of them finished. And this is the way I could just keep working all day long. Now when it's time, I can clock out in the afternoon by just clicking this clock out button. And since I'm clocking out early, you saw in the profile I was supposed to clock out at 3 o'clock. It's now only a little before 12. Then I need to state why. So maybe I have a doctor's appointment this time. And click OK. Now I have a clock out registration and a doctor's appointment. I just click done, and I'm logged out and clocked out when I've completed the feedback of the production job I was working on. Done. So that was all I wanted to show you in this basic demonstration of the Blue product. There will be another demonstration with more advanced topics of the Blue product. Thank you.